comes. And I don't want Easter bunnies. I want them to put up a cross. I want them to put up Jesus. That's what I want to see, because they're gonna do the Easter bunny is what they're gonna do. And yeah, I want to see that.
Well, today I want to also talk about the Iranian volleyball player that was executed last year. And now, today, we wake up. I think it's a new world. I think that the Iranian people saw one of their superstars, just like they saw last year, executed on TV. They hung all three of them. Could you imagine watching that on state TV here in America?
No, 19 years old. Not everybody that better sink in your heads. 19 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. And just for the simple fact that he couldn't exercise his First Amendment right, freedom of speech, he was murdered for that. He was executed for that.
But
Horrible.
Julie, they don't have that.
I
That's the
understand that.
difference,
That's what I'm
right?
saying. That's what I'm saying. And now it's infecting here in in the United States, and I'm seeing it more and more. And what's the end result of this? That's what I'm trying to say.
Uh, I would think that, hey, the world is going to send a message. That's what I really think. I think, hey, Cuba is thrown back into darkness again. I thought Trump did an embargo with them to get them oil to get the power plants running again. Well, what's going on? Is the Cuban government, covering that up again now?
Probably probably doing something like that.
Well, I would think today, I want to hear the naysayers. I want to hear the people that were against the Iranian regime. It sounds like they've put up half a dozen people and they keep disappearing. I don't think their choices were correct here. I don't know. Hey, maybe we can say hello to Jeannie. Jeannie, good morning. How you doing?
Good morning. Yeah, the conversations in the space. I always like to go kind of peruse the spaces before yours starts, just to see what kind of obnoxious things people are talking about. They're completely missing the target on so many levels. And then I join your space, and you hit it every single morning. You are There's something happening here, because that the hanging of those three young men, that should be broadcast to every single person. They must understand what is going on. That was one of the man. It felt like it's it's almost unbearable to think about, and no one knows. That's
Here's the best part, right? The best part is you have all these people that come onto this app and they're trying to separate us from President Trump and they're trying to divide MAGA. MAGA's dead, all this horse shit, right? And again, look, I am MAGA, right? I do want to make America great again. Do I stand up here with the ultra MAGA written across my face? I do not. And you know what? When the Trump administration needs to push back, I'm not going to be another yes man. Oh, Trump's doing, great job. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I don't think he needs that. I really don't. I think he needs to look at this from an average view, right? Gene?
Yep, exactly. Exactly.
Uh,
You are so funny.
uh, uh,
I like that. You snuck that one in there.
well, again, hey, people are going to say, hey, what are you doing? Um, I know what we're doing, all right? Even though, hey, it takes time to get these things out, get worked out, and volunteerism, and it's a lot to navigate. Um, but you know what? I do believe it's important. I believe, we are marked, right? The M. I'm looking at my M on my palm right now. So they can deny it all they want. They want to come in and they want to say, oh, Trump. I mean, Jeffries. There's one. There's a prime example. There's a guy who has talked about we should not be in these wars. We got to stop these wars. But yet the Iranian regime told Americans, told the world that they would no longer execute anybody. Well, what happened yesterday? They talk about okay, they're not going to talk about the executions. I can tell you that. Why don't they talk about the volleyball star that was executed last year? So when you wonder why the Iranian people are screaming out, you got headings, you got hangings on public TV.
Well, wait till the women's soccer team. Some of them that didn't defect and stay in Australia. The ones that went back home because they were afraid for their families. I mean, the one girl, it was written all over her face. First, she was going to defect, and then she decided, no, I better not. Like, I have to go back to be with my family. When she was sitting in that plane window, you saw the look on her face, like she knew she was going back, and she probably was never going to be seen again. It's just horrible. They're doing something that they truly love, and because they defied singing the national anthem that they did not agree with, they're going to be punished for that, and it's horrible.
Yesterday, watching Hegseth, and Hegseth was talking directly to us, right? And this is a tradition for the Secretary of Defense to say this for the 6 fallen people in that plane crash. And the left tore him down yesterday. How in their right minds can Americans not see that? What did he say? He said that TDS is in their DNA. Huh, I thought that was great. Trump derangement syndrome, right, is in their DNA.
It's horrible. And, not to get off the subject of what's going on over in Iran, but look at the TSA lines. Look at these poor workers that are horribly being disenfranchised. They're going to go with their third paycheck without a paycheck, third week. The lines are insane at all the airports. They're like out the door. People better start waking up. Now, they did just pass in the Senate that they are no longer allowed to be escorted to the front of the lines anymore. But we'll see how that works out, because that's not going to happen. They may have said it, they may have put it on paper, but I doubt it that they will stand in line. Just like the rest of us peasants have to stand in line. And when are people going to say enough is enough and start doing things? I mean, I'm leaving at the end of the month, and it doesn't look like it's going to get any better. And even if they do reopen up the government within the next couple weeks, by the end of April, it's not going to be better. It's still going to be a problem, because a lot of them have resigned, quit. I don't blame them. They don't. They need to feed their families. They need to pay their mortgages. And and they don't even get paid a lot of money, these TSA workers. It's just really, really, really sad. Like, people have to wake up and look that it's not just the Democrats, it's both sides. Both sides are yesterday I saw Nancy Mace. They showed her walking through the airport and being escorted right to the front. She's not a Democrat. You know, it's defy, and you're looking and you're arguing this in the chambers, but then you walk past all these people like it's nothing. Like, oh, that's right, I'm more important than you. It's just it's horrible, horrible, horrible.
Well, I'm really interested to see what the Iranian people come out. And if you don't think that you're digesting state TV right now, because they're probably screaming out on so many social media platforms, but we're not getting it. I didn't see that on mainstream media today. Where are they? You know what I'm saying? I want to hear. I hope somebody sees the title. And what's the Iranian people saying today? That's really, hey, they, oh man, I mean, to hear that yesterday, to watch that gold medal or medalist, because that's the track he was on. He was going to be in the next Olympics. It sounds like, hey, they're going to sanction Iran, not let them perform in these competitions around the world. I mean, I wonder, they're watching their stars. There are people that are adored in their country. And they probably don't have a whole lot that the world recognizes, but the two, the volleyball star last year and that medalist, wrestler, being executed on state TV yesterday, why aren't we seeing that today? Why aren't we hearing those people come out and speak against that today? Don't they still have-
That kills the narrative, and it kills the fact that they're allowing all this to come into our country and to try to take it over and try to do what they have to do. So yeah, it doesn't fit the narrative, Marlon. It's just like everything else that doesn't fit their narrative. They then, if this gets broadcast out and people start talking about it, oh well, then it's going to be, we're going to be 9/11, where we're going to be, we're going to be talking down to all the Muslims. That's not what we're talking about. We're not talking
I,
about that.
I just wonder, like the discussion today. I'm not going to get a chance today. I got a lot to do today, but I would really like to hear, like you said, Gene. You said you went through some other spaces and listened to the top. When are these people, that have been there with the alternative method? I can't say, hey, that they're not allowed to think like that, or anti Israel, anti Palestinian. I mean, I can't answer for that. I know that in the background, the CIA has been stoking both sides of that since the very beginning. Can't they open up their eyes and listen and see that? And then to watch this Iranian regime execute those people yesterday. It's just over the top. I can't believe that the world's going to accept anymore. I know for me, I would really love. I mean, I know in the past we've had some Iranian people that had dual citizenship, or people that immigrated here from Iran. I'm just wondering what they're saying, because I saw some of the people yesterday, and she says, now, and I can't quote her name, but she said now, she says, the world is seeing this. You guys have been suppressed. If you don't think that you're watching state TV, we are. And especially even if it's on Fox or CNN, it's being spun either way, and I really don't like it. That's why I'm not the ultra MAGA guy standing up here for America, for me.
It's fascinating, Marlon, because when you boil all of it down and you distill all the noise, it comes down to accepting, for me, because I have my anxiety gets out of control and I can spin out of control. So I distill it down, and it comes down to those who have eyes to see will see. And that is probably the most important thing for me to focus on, because it's not, God doesn't want me, did not give me the responsibility, right, of ensuring that the world can see. He's given me the responsibility to share my insight about him to others. So in other words, my job isn't to save the world. My job is to do whatever I can to share his message. You know, so I don't know.
I get discouraged sometimes because people will still they'll desecrate the message. When hey, we have some people come in here and they recite a Bible verse, or understand the relationship that you have with Jesus, how even these things that are happening, correlate to a lot of the good word. And people will tear you down for that. They tear us down in the chat all the time. I really don't care. We're not up here preaching to people. We're just giving them the opportunity to see. So it aggravates me when people want to desecrate that message. No matter whether you're a believer or an atheist, or Judaism or Hindu, I really don't care. But you know what? That's my belief that I'm putting on the front line. And that was the title yesterday. So, they want to come up and battle. They want to switch this narrative around that the Trump administration is doing it. The Trump administration got those people killed. I mean, this is kind of rhetoric that you're going to hear. And like, tell me that's not absurd, because
Absolutely.
I guarantee you're going to hear that later on.
Right.
I don't know how, I don't know what spaces, but, I could only imagine.
Yeah, well, guys, grab a mic, come up if you want to talk about it. If you are, are against Iran or for Iran, come up here and talk about it. That's what we're here for. Today we will, well, let's talk. Let's talk about that kind of stuff if you want to. So come on up. And guys, while I have the mic open, please go down to that purple bubble, like and reshare the space. Let's get this out. Let's talk about it. Let's get some people in here that want to discuss these issues that are going on. And if you also could please go over to Rumble and YouTube if you can with another device, and like and share the American X Live over there. It is being live streamed so people can listen to it as well. Thank you. You there, Marlon? Go ahead, Rusty.
Good morning. It's Friday, right?
It's Friday all day, girl.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. It's Friday. Um, it's Friday, is what it is. Um, so yeah, I really liked what Dee Dee said. I think it was yesterday or the day before. Um, I mean, it's crazy to me, all these people that are just, well, let's be honest, they're just looking, whatever it is tomorrow. If Trump toots getting off the plane, you know what I'm saying? They'll start running a diatribe about that. You know what I mean? It's like anything, you're just waiting for a dog pile. And also, too, to see who's the next one to flip. Have you guys noticed that? It's been steady ever since the Hamas Israel thing. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that was the catalyst. That's what it popped everything. You know what I'm saying? And then it was anything that they could dogpile Trump for. It was, you know what I'm saying? I was like, all right, there's another one or two influencers that have flipped, and they're like light switches. It's crazy. But I liked
But
what.
Rusty,
Uh-huh.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry
No,
to
no,
interrupt you.
no.
I want to say to you, I'm wondering what the argument can be. That's like, okay, they want to pick out every problem in the Trump administration, whether they think we should be in Iran or not. You know what? The Gen X knows that we should be in Iran. They're talking about the Straits of Hormuz had been under the boot of Iran for 4 decades. I don't think they understand the total history about it and what we watched and experienced as kids growing up. And now we've seen it play out in front of us. It's shit, man. I won't tolerate 1 second of it.
Well, let's be honest. It's common knowledge that Iran has their fingers in every terrorist organization that you can name. Literally every one. Iran has their finger in that. They fund all of the terrorist organizations. Um, and again, like I said, that's something that's you know pretty common knowledge there. So I really like what Dee Dee said yesterday. He said something, and it's just I kind of thought it bears repeating. It was pretty simple, but he said, "You know what? I did." So look, let me start off by saying this. I don't like war. I don't want to see boots on the ground anywhere. But I elected President Trump, and I trust him. We have to trust our leaders because there's so much that they cannot tell us. And you got some people out there running around. I want to know this. I want to know that. Well, I'm sorry, you can't. You know why? Because if they told us, then everybody else would know that's not supposed to know. You know what I'm saying? And it puts our people in danger. So you can't. You know what I'm saying? You got some people that just live in some fantasy world, and all of a sudden, like they've just discovered the Constitution and just discovered. You know what I'm saying? And so they want to run around and think that they're somehow privy or should be privy to national secrets. And, it just doesn't work that way. There is a certain level of trust that you have to have with every administration, because there are a lot of things that they cannot tell us, because, again, it puts us and puts our soldiers in harm's way, and
Hey, can I say, and I'm sorry, Rusty, I keep interrupting, but it's great to see you this morning. Thanks for coming up. And I seen the Bill De Blasio little clip of him and Hannity and what he said about the Biden administration and the immigration that came into New York.
no, don't tell.
Yeah, oh my God. Somebody's got to get the clip of it. I'll try at some point, but yeah, I mean, even Bill De Blasio, right? The leftist mayor that New York ever had, it was tearing down the Biden administration yesterday. Oh my God, it aggravates me so bad because of all the little signs that the Trump administration. I can't tolerate it when we lived through it with Gen X. We watched hanging work yesterday, right? The Iran hung 3 athletes in front of the entire state or nation of Iran.
For
I
protest.
just don't understand.
For protest.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, all the things that Iran has really done over the last 40 years. And really, what is their argument today? I can't understand it. And I'm sorry to Julie, Jeannie, and Rusty. I got to step away a minute and I'll be right.
Well, don't forget too, like I said, what Dee Dee said, he said, yes, I elected President Trump to keep us safe, and all the powers that's included with that. And again, I go back to, we have to defer to his best judgment on a lot of things. And you do with any president. That's the reason why voting and, fair voting, clean elections are so essential. But so I would also say you can look at Trump and this man has always shown the utmost respect for our soldiers and care. Like, he knows the people around him that help secure his safety every day. He knows their names, their families. You guys have heard the stories. Um, I really don't believe that he would put us in harm's way or a needless war. And then also too, I found it very interesting. I don't know if you guys, I heard clips. I was listening off and on yesterday as I was working. I was able to early yesterday morning, I believe it was, to listen to some of Tulsi's testimony she gave in front of Congress. And they had asked her specifically about exchanges with Israel, basically trying to get at, are we doing Israel's bidding, that kind of thing. And she said that Trump's objective is slightly different from what Israel's objective is. Israel's objective seems to be kind of annihilate the whole, Iran and their institution. And Trump's is only to get rid of their ballistic missiles. You know what I'm saying? That is a tip to a lot of people. Not just their ballistic, but their ballistic nuclear capabilities. Basically their weaponry. But that's very smart and very measured on Trump's end, and they really pushed Tulsi to define that divide there between what Trump's um, purpose is and intention is versus what Israel's is. And that was good to see. And they even asked her, they wanted to know more, like, is Israel aware, that Trump's not down with that, or you know what I'm saying? So that, I felt like that was pretty powerful and really needs to be highlighted a lot, because I get so sick and tired of people saying, because if you don't know anything about Trump, you should know that he is no one's puppet. We are no one's puppet. And the fact that he's targeting their ballistic missiles, that's enough to tell you. I honestly believe that they're very close to getting longer range ballistic missiles. You know what I'm saying? I think honestly that's what the crux of it is because if even again, I go back to Chuck Schumer when he was got briefed with the Gang of Eight, he came out of the meeting and said, "This is serious. This is very serious. Trump needs to make the case to the American people." And about Iran. So it's a issue of safety. Are we ever going to have enough evidence to convince, say, a diligent denizen or say, whoever these FAGA people are? No, we're not, because we know that uh, they don't have pure intentions anyway. Their intention is to just dogpile anything Trump does and try to sully him. That's just what these people do. Twitter has gotten disgusting with that. And there's just, but I'm with Dee Dee. I really liked what he said. I voted for Trump to keep us safe and all that he deems necessary. And last thing I'll say real quick, Marlon, you're 100% right. Gen Xers know we grew up seeing these people chant death to America in government funded parades. These aren't just the one offs. Because somebody had mentioned the other day, Pakistan, they've got a group of people there that, well, that's not the Pakistan government. This is the Iran government that's doing this, have been doing this for decades. And honestly, all these other wars that we've been in, it should have been Iran. It should have been Iran all along. That's the head of the snake. So I don't know. I'll shut up and I apologize if I'm muddling.
Nah, no worries. Hey, and Rusty, I appreciate you coming up and contributing, and hey, just giving us a face to look at. I mean, hey, you know what we're not talking about? We're not talking about Pakistan had launched an attack against Afghanistan. I haven't heard not one ounce of that. And it's funny because I know somebody in Pakistan, and they're telling us this is happening. This is what I'm talking about, state-run TV that we're all digesting.
It's because these idiot influencers don't know crap. They don't know crap. It's kills me. And as much as they bitch about this, let me say this real quick. As much as people are complaining and they're like, to say that, yes, that's great. We need that. But you know what I'm saying? That is for the one-off person that goes and tries to register themselves. What about the secretaries of state that are running a scam on our voter rolls? We're seeing it in Georgia. You know what I'm saying? We fight to get dead people off and then they roll back on either through the DMV or the Secretary of State. Who the hell's going to clean that mess up? That's where the real fraud's happening at a state level. And my question was, and even Mike Lee said it in a space the night before last, that they were like, well, how are you going to check to make sure? We're going to work with the same local officials that are rigging the crap to begin with. We've got a lot of work to do. We better just, you know what I'm saying? We got to buckle down and do stuff. These influencers don't know crap. They don't know crap. And I really stick by that. They don't know crap and they're kind of leading us down the primrose path, if you ask me. But I apologize. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's true. And they still have so many people following them. That's the horrible thing about it. And it's just like what I was talking about with the TSA lines. These people that are standing in these lines, they're coming at 3 o'clock in the morning and they're still missing their 6 a.m. flights out of the state of they're in, and they're not doing anything about it. They're just standing in line like good little soldiers and not doing a thing about it. And yet you have the politicians that are, senators and congressmen that are being escorted right up to the front of that line and nobody's saying a thing to them. Man, if I was there and saw that, I would be calling them out, be saying something right away. That's wrong. It's wrong, but people just want to be complacent and they want to listen to people and think that they do know everything. And these people are just given their talking points, Rusty. And then that's it. Then they'll go on to the next subject when that's right. And hi, Truth. Sorry about trying to bring you up before I couldn't. So and Marlon, I found that article with the interview with Bill de Blasio. I put it in the bubble.
Julie. Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning, Cruz. How you doing, man? Friday.
It is Friday, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, That means me and Miss Gypsy got to get up early in the morning tomorrow for our little Bible, not Bible study. Tomorrow is prayer for our country. Anyway, yeah, Julie and Rusty, all the stuff that you're saying, you know, we say it a lot, but it's by design, right? That's the I think people don't give the credit where it's due because human psychology has been studied more by the left, whatever you want to call it, than anything else. And knowing the habits of us as humans. And so yeah, people follow idiots all the time. It's kind of human nature. They want to follow, right? So or the phenomenon of fame. It is a phenomenon. People don't understand it. Why do people put so much credit into famous people, especially, movie stars or whatever the heck it is? Why? For what reason? Why? Why do we care or value what the hell they say? Because human nature is we want to relate with each other. We want to have friendship with each other. If we see something in somebody else and we recognize that in ourselves, it makes us feel akin to them, whether that's a character or whatnot. You see what I mean? So when you really get into the psychology of it, then you start to understand these guys are really manipulating everything from marketing. I mean, just look up Edward Bernays if you want to learn some crap about that. He was the nephew of Sigmund Freud. It'll start to blow your mind when you go down that rabbit hole. But all these little things, the commercials, it's all appealing to the human psyche. Once you get that, then you start to go, oh. And then you start to wake up. This is where we have all this great awakening, is what people are calling it, because you're getting out of that haze, that funk. Sorry to just start like that, Marlon, but enough's enough.
Those people are manufactured too. I really believe that. A lot of the influence they are manufactured. You know how they'll have a lot of bots and stuff like that that come in and fill up their spaces. It's all manufactured to make you think there's something more than what they are. It's a bunch of bull crap. Sorry.
Well, it's a big psyop. It's always been a big psyop. It'll always be a big psyop, and ultimately a battle of good and evil. You can put it down left or right, whatever it is. I mean, even the Bible says left or right, is good or evil. No, see, no, you got hands going up there.
Yeah, let's say hello to Terry real quick, and then we'll go back to you, Jeannie. Good morning, Terry. How you doing?
Hey, good morning, Marlon. Julie, just liked and retweeted the space. It's a great space. Truth hitting it on the head. Rusty's talking a lot of truth. A lot of good stuff going on here. And to your point earlier, Marlon, for Bill de Blasio to be critical of Joe Biden, wow, that's how bad it was. I mean, that was so bad.
Bad it was. Exactly, Terry. That's how bad it was. Oh my God.
Let's not forget that Bill Clinton officiated Bill de Blasio's wedding. But at any rate, no, his swearing in. So I want to make a point to what Rusty was saying earlier. Donald Trump hates war. He does not want to see an American die. And for him to make this decision, I believe that he felt it was in our national interest to do so. And sometimes doing the right thing can be the hardest thing you'll ever do. Let's say someone's in a bad marriage. They're not happy. They don't want to file the divorce because they know that the other spouse is going to get very aggressive and things are just going to get very toxic. So they shy away. And I think Donald Trump, he saw that he had to do it. His first term, he didn't start a war. Why would he all of a sudden just want to start a war the second term? So I believe that he saw something there. As to the points that Truth made to the Democrats, it is a big psyop. These people are experts at working with our empathy. Like, they could take the immigration, they make it look like these are just poor people looking for a better life and they've come to America, and we're just going to kick them out. We're just going to kick them out of the lifeboat into the ocean and watch them drown. And they're really good at just spinning that kind of stuff. But you don't necessarily have to be very bright to be a Democrat. You just have to be able to look at the camera and repeat all of the talking points with sincerity. Look at Eric Swalwell. Come on. I mean, he's not the sharpest knife in the drawer. But so Trump's fighting really a two-front war. He's got his international problem with Iran that we're working on, and then he has a domestic problem with the Democrats. I keep thinking of that State of the Union when he called them out and said, "Stand with me if you believe that the parties of the American people come over illegals." And I'm just paraphrasing that, and none of them would stand. They are dead serious about their party and winning and staying in control. If you remember when Joe Biden flubbed it really bad in the debate, all we kept hearing from the Democrats is party over people. They honestly believe that the party outweighs human beings, people. And the last thing I want to say is Musk put out a tweet that was really good. And he said that no ID plus unlimited mail-in ballots equals the perfect recipe for cheating. It's not a matter of if Democrats are going to cheat. It's a matter of how often are they going to cheat and how they will be able to get away with cheating, for as long as it's allowed. And that's why this SAVE Act is so important, because if we cannot ensure that Americans and only authentic Americans are voting, then we're not in control of our country. And if we allow Democrats to run roost over their voting processes by allowing illegals, unverified voters, and unlimited mail-in ballots, they're going to take over the country. So that is my soapbox for Friday. Great space. I hope I didn't take up too much time. And thank you for everything, Merlin. Thanks for the microphone.
Not at all, Terry. And when you look at Thune and the Rhino Republicans holding it back, don't you think that gives enough evidence to America to know that both sides are using this machine? I mean, Terry, come on.
No, I agree with you 100%. You've got your Democrats. They don't hide their obsession with taking over the country. They want to control everything from the toothpaste to the toilet paper that we use. They think that our rights are derived from government and not from our creator. They want to regulate our rights. And that's not the way our framers intended it. But yes, we do have Republicans out there that are closet, basically Democrats. You've got Murkowski, you've got Collins, you've got Rand Paul. Yesterday, show me on the doll where Markwayne Mullin hurt you, because he just wasn't as empathetic as you wanted him to be over the fact that you were attacked by your neighbor, and he wanted to just stop him from being the head of DHS over that little incident. That's not Markwayne's problem if he got attacked. Now, I don't agree in violence. I don't believe anybody should be attacked like that. But what Markwayne was saying was, I'm just not going to get behind you on that. I mean, the guy is a former MMA fighter, so he has kind of a different ideal about that kind of stuff. But yeah, I think we also have Republicans that are closet Democrats that are doing the bidding, or as we'd say, the uniparty. So yeah, I'll leave it right there.
Hey, Marlon, we got breaking news. Chuck Norris has died.
Oh. He was
Sorry.
Oh,
I just want to let you guys know.
Man, all right, Rusty. Chuck Norris. Wow. Go ahead, Julie, and then we'll go to Jeannie and South.
Yeah, I just wanted to jump off of Terry. I agree, and it is both sides. Like I said, I keep going back to the TSA thing because this is really upsetting me, especially the workers, these poor workers. Yesterday, Nancy Mace, she's not a Democrat, okay? She's a Republican. She was escorted to the front of the line at the airport. This is, and you know what? They can do something about it. They can reach over to the other side. They can talk about it. They can figure out something, because these people are you and me. And it could be our jobs next. It's just, it's not good. And these, this is a small fraction of people that are just bullying everybody in the United States. We're being bullied, and it's got to stop. So yeah, I agree with what you said, Terry. That was really well spoken.
Amen. Go ahead, Jeannie.
Yeah, I just wanted to touch base on marketing. I don't know if everybody's ever watched the series called Mad Men, but it is about the start of advertising post World War II. And when you, um, the way I'm trying to figure out a way to express it. It's like lying with flair. That's marketing. And we have spent our entire lives being marketed to the consumer, right? So we've taken verbiage and twisted it and twisted it and twisted it into what it is today. Being politically correct, Barack Obama was probably one of the worst, absolute worst slogans there is. They're all trying to get us to buy something. And I remember saying this to Patrick Rafferty, what, 5, 6 years ago? If you want to change something, stop consuming. Because once you stop consuming, they go away. So
We want to be voting with our pocketbooks, Jeannie.
at 100%, it's the healthcare system is broken. They're killing you. They're doing all these things. The government, their hands are tied, right? So screw it. Tell people to stay out of it. Quit buying crap healthcare. Um, and it just comes down to salt of the earth. Put your hand in the ground, grow your own food, take care of your family, help your neighbor out, and the rest of it's bullshit. My husband has a saying. Sorry, my husband has a saying. He'll say, he'll be watching something on TV and he'll look at me and say, I'm throwing the bullshit flag on that one. He is like a radar for truth. And in the beginning of our relationship, it took me a long time to figure out just how naive I was because I just accepted it at face value. And he's been training me for 30 some odd years to say, yeah, it's bullshit. And I could tell you the story of my career, but that we'll save that for another day. This is why American X Live and the average view is going to explode. And it's because at the end of the day, all you got to do is do what's right. There's no confusion. Just do what's right.
Hey, you know what? Oh, go ahead, Kurt.
No, I was going to say, I mean, well said. But the dilemma we fall in when you say do what's right, if people have no moral compass and don't have God in their life, they don't know what's right or wrong.
Exactly. And there's a doctor on X, Andrew Zwicky, and he's a young man who I've known since the beginning of this fiasco. And he's been posting some things about Christianity, and he's spot on. It's we've watered down the gospel so much so that everybody can drink the Kool-Aid. The gospel is the gospel. It doesn't change. It's I am the Alpha and the Omega. It's beginning and end. Boom, done. There's nothing more to add or change. It's just it is what it is what my sister would say.
Remember, steering our ship, right? And Jeannie, you know what? If hey, we don't make it and it's flop, you know what? Hey, we tried. You know what? I won't have any regrets. You know, this isn't an easy project. this is incredible. I've never been at this opportunity before. So I know, look, it's all up to them, right? It's whether or not they want to get on the ship or not. And we are steering it. Remember, our tongues are like the rudder, right? Love that. Oh, but wait. Oh, we're breaching though. That's the tear down. That's the tear down in the chat, right? That's what you get.
Oh, really?
It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Doesn't matter. If we're not here to change people's minds, we're here to open them up. Um, it
Right.
cracked me up.
Well, if people want to say what they want to say, then let them say it. Who cares?
Nothing. So it's
Yeah.
not going to change anything we're doing.
No.
I, oh,
It's always refreshing to hear the majority of the people that join us each day and listen and participate and stuff like that. We all see what fact is and what truth is, and but when you talk about hitting them in the pocketbooks and stop, buying their product or whatever, I swear, dude, I'm not encouraging anybody to not pay your taxes, but at the same token, I think if at least for 1 month, if all of us as Americans could agree to go change your W-2 to exempt, see what difference that would make just for 1 month, just change it. You know what I mean? And like the shocker that would go, for 1 month where Congress would be like, well, where's our money? We didn't get a big paycheck this month.
Didn't we all see Kathy Hochul up there screaming about going down to Florida and trying to get these millionaires to come back to New York because the base has been eroded? She's admitting that on TV. Right? Mass exited out of New York. Well, it's hurting them where the taxes are. Nobody's paying taxes anymore. You got everybody
Begging for them to come back.
begging.
Yeah.
Yes.
After pushing everybody out with ridiculous gun laws, which are totally unconstitutional, and talking like a moron, you're wondering why people left, and you're begging them to come back. Come on, man.
Yeah,
And
she
then
said she's going to devise a team to go down to West Palm and try and coerce these people back to New York. It was crack. They cracked me.
I would love to be a fly on the wall for that, Marlon. I would love to go down there. She's going to be turned away just like she was at that police officer's funeral. She will be turned away like, get out. Get out of here. We want nothing to do with you. You lie, made your bed. Now go lie in it.
Amen. Well, let's hear from Sovereign. Sovereign, how you doing today? Welcome up. Good to see you. Happy Friday.
Good morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Thank you so much. Marlon, real quick, I have not been getting your notifications for I have the notifications on for you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if anybody else is having that problem.
I have the same problem.
Okay. So there's a glitch happening. Good to know. Thank you. So because I really appreciate this space, Marlon, and it's great to be in here. It's kind of the highlight of my day to get started here. So, but I'm actually checking. So I'm starting to go down the VA rabbit hole here. I had a friend whose father recently passed away, and he was a vet and he was a Purple Heart recipient. And the father was living on the East Coast. They're trying to get him buried in the Midwest. And I'm just wondering if anybody out there knows of any veterans groups or foundations or what or where I can look to possibly help financially. They need help financially getting him back to the area where they want him buried. So I didn't know where else to turn, and there's just a lot of great minds in here and a lot of great people. So I hope you don't mind, Marlon, me asking, because his family is just trying to get this vet home and to be properly buried with his family near him. Thanks, you guys.
I saw that there's a lot of resources. See if he was a member of the American Legion or VFW Post. You can start there. Those are great resources. And a lot of them will, either take it out of a budget that they might have, or they'll, have a night at the Legion where they'll raise some money or whatnot. And there are a lot of quote unquote entitlements that are given to you depending on the state that you live in, or that you were born in as a veteran in you do actually get a free burial and service and the whole nine. So don't hesitate to reach out to me directly. I believe we follow each other. Yeah. So you can, DM me and I can try to get the resources without revealing stuff here on, where exactly he lived and where exactly the family wants him buried.
Appreciate it. Thank you guys.
Well, that's what this space is all about, man. We work together and we find solutions. Thank you, Truth, for that.
Well, I also have my own veteran organization. So worst comes to worst, we'll see if I can't have my own organization somehow make that happen. All right.
When I get sovereign in the background with the notifications, I don't pay to play, right? That's the difference. Yeah, I'd buy the check mark, $11.99 a month or whatever it is. Yeah, I do that. I feel like ever since that happened, I'm more solicited because of that. But in the background, there's a lot of people that don't get the notification. Um, sovereign. Sometimes it gets discouraging. They're whether they're working directly against us or not. But hey, they've been holding it back the entire time, right? There could be thousands thick, and you see the suppression. And when we get some people in here, you know what happens? Then I can't see the right. I can't see the people that come up. So sovereign, even you just saying that, hey, that hey, maybe it's just a good grounding point for the morning. I really appreciate that, sovereign. That means a lot. So that's why we just got to keep working on these other projects in the background to expand our digital imprint. That's what we're doing here. Hey, Gene.
Yeah, if I just have to tell you this because I was just rolling last night. So this is just a good example of this is reality. Okay, this is what's happening. So Dr. Malone gets on and says, "Hey, pediatric association is suing the ACIP committee, and they're the ones that are working on the vaccines, right? And so, because they want to stop it. Well, that's because Big Pharma they're going to lose all their money on their vaccines that they want to pump into our kids. So he posts this, right? And we all went in up in arms for a few days. And then he posted last night, hey, this came out, and we're just going to divert because of this lawsuit. We're just going to form another committee over here. And I jump on the bandwagon because this is exactly what we need to do. And I said, yeah, we need to be independent of the government. The government strangleholds us in doing what is right, jumping through hoops. We have laws, our boards, the whole thing's a shit show. And it strangleholds us in stopping us from doing what is right. So I said, let's ask Grok underneath Malone's thing. And Grok is like, hell yeah. Being totally transparent with independent people who want to just uh, study and do the research and then make recommendations. And oh, by the way, you could do this and this and this and this and this. And I'm like, that's what's coming. That is what's coming to every aspect of it. That is what we the people are all about. It's like, no, and the other thing that I always say too is I'm an OG nurse, like old original gangster nurse. And the OG nurses, we don't take no for an answer. If we know it's in the best interest for the patient, we'll find a way to make it happen. And that is the thing I love about being an OG nurse. So I'm like, it's Friday, baby, and the weekend's coming. I'm ready.
Hey, and real quick before we go to you, Jeff, maybe we could say hello to Texas. Texas, I know you're working, man. You want to throw in there? How you doing? Good morning. Good to see you. And then we'll go to you, Jeff.
Yeah, brother, I'm doing good, man. Tried to drop in. I'm having trouble with my connection. I'm in this new truck and I can hear y'all, but every time I come up on speaker, I can't hear nothing. But I took it off of the system in here, put it back. But good morning. I ain't seen y'all in a while, man. Kind of allergies kicking my tail right now, but I'm out here working, man. I just doing my thing. It's good. Sad to hear about Chuck Norris, man. I don't know, but it goes to prove, you might be a queen or a little street sweeper, but sooner or later you'll dance with the reaper. Uh, I don't know if y'all know it, but down here in my area, our sheriff back then, Robert Harris, he used to train with Chuck Norris. They was real close friends. And at a time down here when the drugs was really kicking, he saddled up with the Cobb County Sheriff's Department and the Texas Rangers and was kicking indoors down here with the police force of these drug houses. But so yeah, it's pretty cool, man. But I hate to hear he's gone, man. He was a good actor, he was a good dude, man. But yeah, I remember they used to get out in the park, man, and they'd shoot arrows at them. And they'd be out there catching arrows that people shot at them. It's pretty amazing. Uh, yeah. Marlon,
Yeah.
what do you think about this Delilah's law? You see that word Dave Taylor actually slipped Connor's law in there with their Connor's family in there to I don't know. I'm thinking that's going to have a lot more impact than what Secretary Duffy done with the 5-year phase out. Hopefully, it's done past the Transportation Infrastructure Committee in Congress, and now it's going to the Senate. If we get that in, man, it's going to have a huge impact.
Wow, send me a post to Texas. I've had my head in the sand a little bit, so definitely send me a post on that. I'd like to see that.
I'll see if I can find it. Right now, I'm working, brother, but I'll send you a message and see if I can find it. Send you a message. But
Yeah, either tag me to it or whatever.
yeah, we're where we need to be, man. It's taking a long time, but it's amazing, man. All these people that jumped in, and now you got all these big, super big influencers out here jumping on the bandwagon. We know what it's about for them is clicks and likes, but we've made a strong movement, man, and we should all feel accomplished for that, right?
Absolutely. You know what, Texas? Hey, we were on here talking about it when nobody cared, right? We would talk about that particular subject and these spaces would dump out. The better part is they realize that the conversations lead into each other. We realize that this black entity has this control over our logistics. And we proved that over and over and over. We proved and thanks, Texas, because it helps, man. Hey, I thought it was a waste of time at some point. A lot of other people did too, but damn, now it's on the front page. Everybody's talking about it, dude. I think you're right. I think we've, put it out there. Hey, if those influencers put it out there and these logistic lines are fixed, takes the criminality out of it, you know what? We did our job. I'm not looking for the pat on the shoulder. I don't need to.
Marlon, this is honest truth, man. You know how long I drove a truck. I went back to the water company, and where they started me in wages and benefits is great. Making good money. I got great benefits, paid insurance, no holiday sick time, personal takeoff, 401k, 21% contribution into it that earns 7% interest. Yeah, I'm happy, man. I'm back to. I mean, it's an easy job, man. Most work here at the water company is a lot of sitting and wait for something to happen. Then you run for a minute, you get it done, you go. But yeah, man. It's stress free. I'm in a brand new 4x4, 2500 Ford, 6.7 diesel, super nice truck. And it's just this is my office, man. I mean, I'm still in a vehicle. I'm still driving every day, everywhere. But honestly, to be 100% honest with y'all, we all see that everybody puts out truckers make incredible money, that truckers are rich, that truckers this, truckers that. But I can honestly say, man, what I'm grossing and what I'm bringing home right now, if you take the expenses out of trucking, I'm making more right now at home, sleeping in my bed or off 2 days a week, working 8 hours a day than I was making on the road, working 16, 18 hours a day. And I'm eventually might land back in the plants. And if I land back in the plants, which that's where I was a supervisor over, I was chief operator. That's a 4-day-a-week job, man. 40, and they're talking about going to 3 days one week and 4 days the next. So every other week, you get guaranteed overtime, guaranteed 40 on the 3-day week. It's just, it doesn't make no sense for me anymore to go out there and beat my head up against the wall. As much as I love trucking, and I did make good money for some time, but as bad as it's been the last few years, I just have no desire to climb back in the truck. Maybe, I don't know. I still own my truck. Our trucking company's still running. My partner's still running. My truck's sitting over at his place. Maybe I'll find a good driver and stick in it, but he's going to have to handle it because I'm not, and I'm just divorcing myself from it, brother. I'm enjoying spending time with my family, my wife. Our relationship's gotten a lot better. My daughter's behavior has gotten a lot better. Her schoolwork's getting a lot better because, with both of us devoting time to our family and her, it's made a huge difference, right? That's the price we pay out there on the road being truckers to make that. Everybody thinks we're getting rich when we're not, but that's the price we pay. We sacrifice our family and our health. Lost 30 pounds, man. I can work all day. I like to bend down flat footed, touch the floor, my hands flat on the floor. Dude, it's it's insane to go out there and do that to yourself, bro.
Brother, it's the same kind of thing. It's not just that business. Because remember, you're not driving a truck, bro. You're running a micro business in this country. Well, it's the same thing here, right? Can't tell you how many people are into my pocket being a small business owner, especially in New Jersey. It's really hard. They're eroding that privilege away from me because of everything that I'm responsible for. Even to the point where I have to have extra insurance policies and bonds to operate now, right? There's more money out of my pocket, and I've paid my due, dude. Right? I've paid my due. It's getting harder to make money in this. Same thing here. Why? Is it worth it that I take all the responsibility, but yet you're only making about 10% at the end of the day? Hey, Joe.
Yeah, while I got Texas up here, I totally forgot about this and it enraged me, but I was at work, so I really couldn't like get into it and everything. But last week, I was in a patient's room and they had their TV on, whatever. It was one of the morning talk shows, and there's one of the women on the panel, was in they were pushing the autonomous trucks, Texas, right? And Sean Duffy is pushing it too, but his way of going around it is like, well, if we want to make sure that we build them in the United States so that we have better control over what they're doing, and that with this is going to help because we have a shortage of truck drivers. Now, I heard this was an interview that he had said this. He wasn't in the interview, but it was a clip that they pulled from him. So I was interested if you heard that, because I believe that they're rolling this out big time down in Texas. Do you want to weigh in on that? Because I just remembered that I saw that the other day. I don't know if it was Good Morning America or whatever, but I was like, oh my gosh, they're really pushing this hard.
Well, yeah, we know they're doing it. Tesla just started to put out their first automated truck, completely automated truck, their first one. We know it's coming. They're going to do what the corporations want them to do, and that's what the corporations. Don't forget, the American Trucking Association took $1 billion to lobby Congress and the government from a Japanese company for autonomous trucks. That's the reason why we had the FMCSA and DOT waiving requirements that are required for every other trucker on the road for these to get these up and in. Now, maybe Duffy did mention a driver shortage, but that was probably a long time ago. It's probably a clip they got, because he come out and publicly said many, 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 many times recently that we had no driver shortage. So I don't know where that come from, but he's acknowledged the driver shortage is a hoax. It's a false
Now,
narrative.
the TIA.
Was the
Wait,
right-
wait, wait, wait. Yeah, but hold on. You don't understand where that narrative was derived from. That narrative of a driver shortage was devised from the TIA. Now, when people understand what the TIA is, they have a lot of power. They have a lot of money and lobbyists in Congress. They are the ones pulling the strings. They are the ones putting that out. And when we went and we lobbied to Kristen Sinema's office, to Ted Budd, to Sam Gray, and when we told them that they were going to throw this shortage at them, we told them that. Well, actually, might have been a little bit of the TIA, but it was the ATA, the American Trucking Association, which we know that they don't work for truckers; they work for the mega carriers, which do have a shortage of drivers because they can't keep them in the seat. It's not a shortage; it's a retention problem because they don't pay nothing and they treat you like a piece of meat. So that's where the problem comes in. Yeah. So, but that's what created the problem with the CDL schools and the mega carriers and self-certification of these CDL schools, which they're shutting them down left and right. It's all coming full circle now. How long has it been, Marlon? 5 years? Damn near 5 years we've been doing this. I guess it is 5 years, huh? I don't know, man. It's been a long time.
Yeah, I forgot all about that I watched that. I was like, what is going on here? And then I know that I think Texas, they also had the head of the FMCSA was on, and he was defending that there is enough truckers and that, this is going to disenfranchise you guys as truckers, and this needs not to be, rolled out the way that they're rolling out. And I believe, I think it might be Amazon or Walmart. One of them is going all autonomous. One of those big companies are ready to launch all autonomous vehicles.
The head of the FMCSA, the administrator now, is Derek Bars. If y'all want to read into that and look it up, but that's who that is, Derek Bars.
Oh, sorry. Yes. Yeah. I just saw that and I said, oh my gosh, I haven't seen you, in a while and everything. Cause I know you're busy with your new job and everything, which I'm so happy you're doing. And the things that are, that are better in your life with your family, with your own personal health is so much more important than, a job that might not be giving you what you need, even though you love it, even though this is something you always wanted to do. But in the end, it's really hurting you more than it is helping you. So that I'm happy about. But when I saw that, I was like, blue, and I was like, kind of talking to my patient's family, and I'm like, would you feel comfortable driving on like a major interstate, like on Route 80, where people just cut people off all the time, stop short? Would you feel comfortable with something that heavy, that big, driving without a driver? And they were like, no. And I'm like, neither would I. Neither would I. It's just a bad thing.
But you guys don't have a choice. That's the problem. And Anheuser-Busch is really the big pusher here. Anheuser-Busch in Germany's been running autonomous trucks for years. They're taking this. It seems great. That's the worst part. They would give us the bump and say, this isn't going to happen in our lifetime. And yeah, right around the corner, they're instituting this and they're bringing this right to the mainstream media.
Is that the company that's going to go full autonomous? I thought it was Walmart or something like that, but maybe it is Anheuser-Busch, because I know they were saying one company is about ready to go all autonomous.
Yeah, that's Anheuser-Busch. All you beer drinkers out there, yep, you're just contributing to it.
Let me tell you something, Julie, and this is honest. So this job at the water company, I was here 5 years before. Like I said, I worked my way up to like the third highest in the company being in control. You know what I mean? Right now, I would be the second. I would be the first in the plants, and I had left. And it's a great job. If you get in with a water company or a city or a municipality like this, the jobs just don't get much better, man. The benefits are incredible. Uh, Plus the prestige of, being a public servant again. So because that's what I am. I'm actually licensed to do water, and I'm a public servant. So one of my biggest regrets in life was leaving this job. And, I should have swallowed my pride a lot sooner and come back because I love this job. It keeps you engaged. The technology's constantly changing. Uh, and it's not a boring. I mean, you get a lot of idle time, a lot of slack time, but, know, uh, it's important. You know what I mean? I'm surface water treatment. We take the raw water from the lakes and we turn it into the drinking water. That so the public depends on us just as well as they do truckers. But it was a regret, and I really regret it now because I would be 15 years in here, and I would be 5-6 years away from retiring with a healthy pension, a healthy check. But it is what it is. I couldn't swallow my pride to go back. Eventually, I did, but it was just because I was fed up to my eyeballs with trucking, ready to get the hell out.
Well, Texas, at least you had an option. A lot of Americans don't have an option.
Well, that's the sad thing about it, Marlon. What are these 30 and 35 and 40-year and 20 and 25-year drivers going to do that's never done anything beside truck driving? What are they going to do, man? There's millions of them. What are they going to do for work?
It's kind of just like construction guys. I mean, even though, I'm not your average construction guy, right? Yes, we're working on projects. Yes, we have a little social media, but I'm not your average guy. Most guys my age, first off, most guys my age didn't do what I'm doing. So when you get into the background of it, they don't have any other opportunities. Isn't this the shame of it, Texas? Shouldn't we be more versed? Even when we were growing up, everybody was told, "Oh, get a good corporate job and a retirement." Well, you saw what happened there, right? They got rid of it. When you were 55 or 58, they found the first thing to get rid of you because then they don't have to pay you retirement. I mean, that's what corporate world did to America.
100%, Marvin. 100%. And not that people might not agree, and that's okay. I happen to love what I do for a living. I love being a respiratory therapist. I love helping my patients. Do I disagree with almost 90% of what is being done in hospitals? Yes, I do. But I have over 33 years invested in this career. I'm not about to start a new career. I'm just not going to do it. I mean, I'm too close to, getting ready to slow things down, not retire, but I'm already part time, and it's only a matter of time before I go per diem and pick and choose what days I want to work. But I love my profession. I'm not going to change it just because of what I've seen. Now, do I do things differently? Do I speak up a little bit more? Yes, I definitely do. COVID, that opened my eyes. And this was going on, and Jeannie can, back me up on this. Things were going on nefariously before COVID, but COVID is what opened everybody's eyes because it was right there in front of everybody to see. And, so, sometimes you have to, you have to do what you're dealt with. And like I said, I'm not going to change my career after 32 years or 33 years, excuse me.
Well, how many times I started over? You know what I mean? Like, I think people realize the struggles that small business people go through, right? I mean, how many times I've been in the balls of my ass, worrying about money, and then sometimes you're on top of the world. It all depends on the climate. I mean, we're talking about interest rates that affect this industry in a big way. I mean, tax returns are coming out. People will start doing, hey, basements and, have opportunities come down the pike. But, for the older crowd that's 55 and older, their corporate entities are looking to push them out. They don't have any other. You know what? Maybe, and Julie, I think you would have other options. I think maybe a little less pay, but you could probably get a time job at a doctor's office, I'm sure they'd love to have you. So, not changing careers. I just, it's the pay, I guess.
Well, no, it's also really what you're skilled in as a respiratory therapist. Most doctors' offices that you would work in as a respiratory therapist, not as a nurse, you would really be doing PFTs. And I really don't like doing PFTs. That's a pulmonary function test. That's not my shtick. Let's just put it that way. I can do them. I do bedside spirometries all the time, but that's a lot different than doing a full PFT. And I would get bored really quick. I did leave the hospital section for a little bit. I was working in a doctor's office doing studies with a nebulizer that they were trying to push out. We were really trying to get it off the ground. This was back in the early 2000s, but it didn't, unfortunately, it didn't pan out. It didn't work out and everything. But I was, I had left, and then I had to, I did have to go back to the hospital system. But like I said, I'm there part-time. I do what I have to do. I do my job now. I take care of my patients, and that's really all that I'm not going in there and screaming off the top of my lungs, because they don't care. Just like you said, Marlon, people are, Texas, they'll get rid of you, and they really don't care. They will be like, you know what, we can replace you with somebody that makes an awful lot less money. And so go ahead, try and give it to you, give your best.
Well, hey, I just think that, talking about the Gen X, talking about, hey, where the corporate entity is kind of working against us with retirement here. It's our turn, right? It's our turn that, hey, it's time for us to start thinking about retirement. I can't even believe I'm talking like that. I feel like I'm talking to my dad. Retirement.
I
think I'm
know.
still, I think I'm still like 19 in my head. Yeah, sorry, Julie. Yeah.
No, I said that R word.
Yeah, I can't even believe I'm talking like that. I got 10 years, man. I got 10 years. How long do you think I'm going to be able to do drywall for? The full 10? I don't think so.
Well, as long as those shoulders and everything holds up, Marlon, who knows?
Hell no. I don't want to do that. What are you kidding me? I want to be in the south of France this time of the year, right? I want to be marlin fishing in the Azores. That's what I want to be doing. We'll see. Well, hey, we're running out of time. But hey, I did see Mama came up quick. Mama, how you doing? Good to see you.
Happy Friday, everyone. It's good to see everyone here. Um, yeah, um, look, I'm ready for retirement anytime. I'm ready. Be able to do all the things and go all the places that all these years haven't been able to do. I mean, that'd be perfect. I did come up because we are starting the podcast, me and Mama G are starting a podcast this evening at 7:30. It is not attached to American X Live for now. It might go sideways or it might go great. If it goes great, then we'll talk about it. But at this point, it's just going to be two women just discussing why things are, or our perspective of why things are the way they are in the world, and how what's getting us through. So we do not want any shills or any bots coming into the space, but we just want everybody to feel comfortable. Hopefully, this helps others who feel like they're alone. And I know for myself, this is a big growing experience for me. I am not one to put myself out there for anyone, for anything. I like to be in the shadows always. But my heart is being pulled to do this. So I'm going to listen to what my heart is telling me. And I'm just going to put it all out there for everyone to see. So with that being said, Marlon, I am going to stop my mouth.
Well, hey, and I love the note. And really, hey, what it is maybe people are really sick and tired of what the hell is going on. Maybe some average view or average Americans, hey, here's two housewives that are pissed off. They're done with it, right? I mean, hey, if some of these projects or some of these spaces, to give some people some foundation to go stand on and say, you know what, you're right. We got to speak out. That's what I see, Mama. So don't you worry, man. Any support we can give you, we'll jump in there, and I'm proud of you for stepping up and doing something.
Well,
I'm proud of
we're trying, Marlon. We might not succeed. Look, it took like what, 4 hours just to figure out how to utilize Rumble in the right way. So, look, you don't know what you don't know. And we're going to learn as we go as a community. So if you're willing to jump on board and learn with us and, just have discussions, this is going to be a rated R broadcast. So no young children, because there are going to be some language things and maybe some content that little ones just shouldn't hear. But just, for the people that are out there that feel like they're alone, that they're walking in the shadows of somebody else, that's what this is about. This is about our, using our voices again.
That's awesome, Mama. I wish you the best of luck. And I think it will be a good success because you're determined. And that's what happens when you're determined. Things work out. So that's a good thing. Hey, Jeff, how are you today? Oh, sorry. Marlon, go ahead.
Yeah, Jeff, and then we'll go to Zach.
Well, good morning, guys. I can't believe it. I'm hearing that Chuck Norris has passed away. I kind of figured the only thing that could kill Chuck Norris was Chuck Norris. Imagine that. Wow, it's unbelievable. But that guy never died. I always always liked watching Bruce Lee fight him, and it was the only time that he ever kicked a bucket in a movie was because of Bruce Lee. But yeah, I figured that Chuck Norris would kill death. He just always found a way to survive in through the hardest times. But we were talking about working, Marlon. I know you don't want to be slapping drywall up when you're 75, 80 years old. I get it. So I've got a plan that I built here in my little town. It's my workforce development plan. And with my workforce development plan, I have a plan of action for getting the students between the ages of 15 and 18, really 14 to 20. I need some younger hands to train. And I figure that at that particular age, I can get them before they get on drugs or they get in trouble with having children or they start drinking alcohol. At that particular age, I think I can mold these young men into a force. Whereas nowadays the kids don't even know the difference between a boy and a girl. So we need a new development plan that in each community to get these young men trained up to where they're under God's hand. And it seems that since 1963 till now, God's been cut out of the school systems all throughout the United States, and it's put us in this condition where we're at today, where the young people they don't have a direction anymore. And so, with a development plan like mine that I have here, I'm going to institute this plan in my little town here, and we'll see where it goes from there. But we're going to be building everything from the inside out, not looking always at, well, what are they doing in Iran and what are they doing over here and what are they doing over there? everybody needs to be concerned with what they're doing in their own hometown instead of letting these top influencers, like you said, Marlon, sidetrack the whole thing off the rail. But it's good to hear that Texas, I'll tell you, I love driving to trucker. I love it more than anything in this world. But man, it's good to hear that you're closer to your family and putting the family first. And that's why we're building this little business in our town to support family and God first and community first in America. That's what we need in our small towns. We need to put family first and God first. I'll yield.
You know what, Jeff? We're not convincing those kids. We're convincing their parents to shove them out in the world and make them uncomfortable. Show them something that they've never done before. Make them nervous. And then when they do succeed, because they're going to have failure along the way, you gotta expect a failure. If they don't prop it up, oh, you're the best, honey, and you're going to be no, let them fail. That's where I've learned most of the lessons in life, is where I failed and had to do over and over again. So, Jeff, hey, it's a great notion to get these kids to understand and really, hey, I think our job is to replacing the parents. So,
Yeah, that was the problem right there, Marlon. Exactly that my friend said just this morning. He said, Jeff, you got to convince the parents that this is a good deal. And that's the focus right there. That's a good point.
Let's go to Zach. Zach, how you doing, man? And then we'll go to you, Russell. I know you've been up and down, so. Hey, Zach. Let's go to Russell. Russell, how you doing, man? Welcome.
Happy Friday, buddy. I hope you're good. I'm having issues with this, with the two different. I've got American X tied up in my Rumble, and I've got my phone not having any sound. I guess you guys can hear me, but I'm just trying to figure out this text so I can do without having both things on at the same time. Anyway, can you guys hear me? Give me an okay, Marlon.
You're good, man. And listen, Russell, I appreciate you going over to Rumble and throwing that out there. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out. I'm just trying to see what we gain from this whole system. On my Rumble, it won't let me respond at all. It just shows me the people that are up on the board and the American X Live logo and stuff. And then on my phone, I'm talking to you and everything. I'm just trying to figure out what's the advantage of. I should be able to do it on one device or the other, and I don't know what the hell, I don't know what Rumble does, but it's hard to find even if you know what you're looking for, it seems like. But anyway,
well, hold on, Russell. I think because we don't have great presence over there, and it takes time for that to get onto the algorithm. You know what? We just need to do just like Mama came up, right? We just have to start somewhere. So that's, I don't have a video component over there. We should be monitoring a little bit more over there. Maybe, Russell, we can do that in the future here, but that's what we're stuck with now.
Well, I just figured I'd let you guys know what I'm seeing out here in space. But anyway, we were talking about these kids and stuff and talking to their parents. And, when we were kids, our parents didn't give a damn what we were doing as long as we were staying out of their hair. And most of us went and got a job without telling our parents. And then they found out at a later time. And these kids nowadays are so kept and they don't, none of them have been hungry their whole life. Most of them have never been hungry their whole life. That's what's wrong with part of these kids. But I've got a body shop, and I've been trying to train kids all my life. And I don't care if you can throw money at it, you can whatever, but a lot of them will just not work. They get tough one afternoon and they quit. You know what I mean? And that's just not how you get ahead. And the other thing I wanted to talk about, I know you guys all know I'm a January 6er, and these all this stuff that's going on. I guess you guys have seen the Tanya Chutkin deal where they've made it to where Trump can sue her, and both the prosecutor and my judge have both been thrown off. And now the there's a guy that was supposedly in the prosecuting office, Julie Kelly was talking about, and he's running for Congress now on the basis that they screwed everything all up and they persecuted a bunch of people that didn't deserve it. And all these people have walked, and we're still not arrested anyone from that whole court system in DC or the appeals system in DC or the Congress in DC. And I just feel like we're pissing in the wind. But anyway, I ain't giving up. I ain't going nowhere. As soon as if there's a place where I can make a mark, I'm going to leave a mark. But you guys have a good weekend. And we're going to go play in the mud this weekend with some four-wheelers, I think, over here in Georgia. So we'll see what happens. Wish me luck. I'll talk to you later.
Russell, great to see you. Thanks for coming up, man, and keep updating it. I know, hey man, you experienced it all the way along. You're being a January 6er, and brother, I got a lot of respect for you. So I appreciate you coming in and contributing.
Well, I thought about it every day while I was in there, and there's nothing that we can do except for people say, well, we can vote. Well, that's what this whole thing's over. They screwed the votes up in 2020 and before that, I'm sure. But that's the election I saw, and we've got to, these people they think they're going to slide on by, and all these closed indictments and all this stuff. Well, we need to see them. We need to see them. But anyway, have a good weekend, folks.
Thanks, man. Stay out of the mud. Good to see you, Russell. Zach, did you want to? I know you were probably busy behind the scenes there. Zach, you want to say? All right, so I know some people are having a problem with X. Hey, we made the suggestion, especially for Android. If you guys uninstall your app and then reinstall it, and then right there and then you got to restart your phone, and it'll cure the problem of intermittent speakers, all of it. So I didn't realize that we were just doing updates, but if you actually restart your phone after you do the update, especially on Android, it'll cure the problem. Don't go on the app. You got to quickly, as soon as you download it, restart your phone. So hey, I know it is Friday. I do want to keep it a good feel kind of thing here. We were just kind of remembering or watching what happened in Iran yesterday. Watched the prayers that the Secretary of Defense put out for the fallen soldiers in the plane crash, and they left poor Pete Hegseth down. That's what they did. If that isn't un-American, I don't know what is. To watch the Iranians be hung on state TV last night was unbelievable. That the world should be speaking out today. And if you don't think that we're involved in a state-run media, you got another thing coming, because that's exactly what we should see. Right on mainstream media, CNN does everything to crack and split America on this war. Hakeem Jeffries doing the same thing. But we just watched Iran hang 3 of their soldiers because they were protesting. Right? I just want to keep it. I want to keep it to the point where we're recognizing what's going on. I can imagine the rhetoric that you're going to hear on the spaces later on, and I don't think there's every evidence in my book tells me that this is something that needed to be done 40 years ago. And if you want to listen to those guys go tear down the Trump administration, go listen to the Iranian people. That's what I think this morning. Jack, go ahead. You want to jump?
Something's going on, but Guys, yeah, please go down to the Purple Bubble, like and reshare the space. Again, Marlon just talked about it. If you can, go over to Rumble and YouTube, look for the American X Live. Oh my gosh, I had a little glitch there. And you know, over there, it's being streamed so people can listen to it if they don't have an X account. It's a work in progress, but it's good if you give it the thumbs up over there. It'll hopefully get it more up to the algorithm so that we can get this more people to come in and listen to it and let this thing take off. So that's the goal.
Well, hey, you know what? I think just like the initiative that Mom has taken, right? Starting a small little podcast, you know, it takes time. It takes work, dedication. It takes time for, hey, that to sink in. And you know what? You're not going to see the results right away. So you got to have a little resolve. You know, it's the same kind of thing where you're putting your kids out there, and the first adversity that the kid has on the job, he wants to. I mean, that's you know, that's what we're working against. Zach, one more time.
Let's try this again. Say it works.
There you go. There you go. Now we can.
I had to switch devices. I had it on my computer at first. I'm sad to see Chuck Norris passed away. I knew him as Walker, Texas Ranger. I think he was an honorary Texas Ranger too, as well.
I think he was. I mean, I know. I remember he was in the show Texas Ranger. I think he was an actual Texas Ranger at some point. Man, Chuck, man, what an icon. You know, and like Chad, you kind of said it. You know, nobody took down Chuck. And man, see that guy? That's a legend right there.
That he is.
Hey.
He had property here in Tennessee too, as well.
And an American icon. That's just as almost as an iconic as Grizzly Adams. You know, Little House on the Prairie. I mean, you know, these were all icons that we grew up with. Get Terry.
Yeah, I was doing a little bit of background on Mr. Norris. He was born Carlos Ray Norris on March the 10th, 1940. After graduating high school, he enlisted in the Air Force and was in the Air Force for 4 years as a security police officer. Then he moved to California and applied for a job at a police department. And while he was waiting, he began to fight professionally. And the tail ended up wagging the dog. He began known for his ability to fight. He was a personal trainer to some of the Hollywood stars. He was a father. He had 5 kids, 13 grandkids. He described himself as a conservative and a Christian. He had a code of conduct that he lived by. He had 10 rules that he lived by. See if I get them off here real quick. I will develop myself to the maximum of my potential in all ways. I will forget the mistakes of the past and press on to greater achievements. I will continually work at developing love, happiness, and loyalty in my family. I will look for the good in all people and make them feel worthwhile. If I have nothing good to say about a person, I will say nothing. I will always be enthusiastic about the success of others as I am about my own. I will maintain an attitude of open-mindedness. I will maintain respect for those in authority and demonstrate disrespect at all times. I will always remain loyal to my God, my country, family, and my friends. And last, I will remain highly goal-oriented throughout my life because that positive attitude helps my family, my country, and myself. And that was Mr. Chuck Norris, his code of what he believed. And he died in Hawaii on March 19th, 2026, at the age of 86.
86, you said, Terry?
Yeah, 86.
Man, 86 years old. I hope I live that long. I don't know. 86 is a long way away. That's a lifetime away. My father died at 86.
And, he was in really good shape for his age, too. I mean, the guy worked really, really hard to stay fit.
remember he was working with a few different people on exercise equipment. I remember a lot of those infomercials. Chuck was there.
Or Jim.
Yeah, Susie Crawford. He did commercials with her. Yeah, Chuck. You know, you never heard of Chuck being on that list, did you?
Nope, he was a good one. And you know, he was a tough man. He kept himself in shape. You know, but it all goes to show that, you know, when God wants to take you, he's going to take you. And hopefully he's got bigger and better things planned for him. And that's a good thing. So I look at it that way, that, you know, he's in a better place. And you know, there's maybe some bigger and better things that will come out of this, or for him in, you know, God's eyes. So look at it that way.
Well, it kind of said what he was all about in those 10 statements, right? I think that's pretty cool. Well, hey, man, would you guys mind if I played a little hooky today? I got a lot of work to do to finish up my day here, but what do you guys think? You guys all right with that?
That's okay, Marlon. You know what? It's Friday. You've had a really busy, crazy week. You know, why don't you try to get your work done so you can enjoy your weekend? And you know, we'll all be here on Monday. We'll all come back on Monday, I promise. So guys, I want to thank you for coming in today. Think about the poor, you know, these people in Iran. He was 19 years old, guys. 19 years old. He had his whole life ahead of him. You know, pray for him and his family. You know, it's just terrible what's going on. Pray for our president. And guys, have a great and safe weekend. Thank you. God bless America.
Hey, please do me a favor. Please, hey, retweet the space for me. You know, it's been suppressed all day. We're not up on the board. You know, you can see it in the action in the space. And, you know, hey, look, that's what we got to battle. Hey, and that's what everybody has to learn, right? You know, whether or not you get suppressed, whether you have detractors that come in, you know, just don't pay them any mind. And you know what burns them down the most is the zero comment. Take the air out of the conversations. You don't have to engage in these people. And if you really looked at some of the comments, that these people want to try and engage us every day. And when we give them a zero answer, it burns them down even. So, you know, you can look at the evidence in the chat. I really don't care, right? Just like, you know, Mama came up here, you know, they're trying something, you know, reflecting on the project that we're working on. We're trying something.
Absolutely, Marlon. And you know, it just goes to show you gave that open mic option for people to come up and defend themselves why they are thinking the Trump administration is doing the wrong thing against what just happened over in Iran, and nobody came up. So there you go. And I really don't like to, you know, I'm not doing this just to, you know, hear my voice. I really am telling people to get down there and like and reshare this space so that it does get out and people do understand that, you know, there is spaces that are here for the good thing, and that is for people to voice their opinions, to talk about things, and to try to get things done and collaborate. So I really appreciate all of you guys, and I'm going to be quiet now because Truth needs to talk.
Bad truth.
Okay, you're bringing it to an end. Nice. Well, everybody have a nice, safe weekend. Just a reminder, Miss Gypsy, who I think, no, she's gone. Miss Gypsy and myself under the handle of at Studying God, early tomorrow morning, starting at 8 a.m. Eastern. We just do our weekly prayer for our country. So join us. It's a pretty quick space, and we just pray for our country overall and then read some Bible scriptures. Other than that, put it all in perspective. Hopefully, you all had a good week. Enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on Monday. Put God first in your life. It makes a difference.
You know, sometimes when I get home, I walk through the door and I just like, man, I gotta get it. Right? Like, I get out of the truck that I've been in for hours and hours and hours, and I man, I you know, I do enjoy going home. And, I want to put that, out there. Like, maybe we should do more of that. Maybe we should just shrug off all the non-sayers or, the detractors, and just, you know what? We're just going to brush it off, man. I don't let it affect me. I'm not going to let it affect a lot of the projects and the trails that we're on. Right? We're blazing our own trail. So if you want to jump on, I'm glad to have you. Right? But for people to come up here and try and tear us down, saying that we're preaching, all this other garbage, we should be pulling our troops out of the Middle East. And, oh my God. Well, if it's not enough evidence that we saw yesterday, this is what the Iranian regime is all about. They said that they weren't going to do any more killings. Let's get it out of mainstream media that 50,000 protesters were killed in Iran, right? And the number was 35, and now you can see the number is climbing. They're killing their own people to keep them in line. It doesn't tell you that, this is something that, hey, they've had a grip on this entire region, you know? It's amazing to me. And I'm wondering what the rhetoric is going to be out there. So I don't know. I'm more thankful that President Trump stood up and did this. I think it's something that Gen X has been calling for ever since we were kids. To watch the beheadings and hangings of Iranian people, that should scare everybody around the world. And I think it's the world that's going to call it out. So we're going to see over the weekend, and I'm sure it's going to be here on Monday morning. So look forward to you all. Thank you all for coming up and contributing today. Yeah, we're playing a little hooky. It's been a rough week, man. I'm going to shrug it off here. And poor Chuck, man. For Chuck, I tell you, I was sad to hear that this morning when Rusty said that. So pray for you, Chuck, man. Come down and give us a little of your attitude. I think most Americans could use some. So thank you, Chuck. Rest in peace, man. Have a great rest of your weekend. God bless America. We'll see you on Monday. 9-ish. Have a great weekend.